In Canada, the dollar, you can utilize CBC, a form of digital currency, if you so choose. Instead of using the current payment systems, the U.S. government would fully support it, and the Federal Reserve would issue, control, and back it. This might be employed in its place, and it would offer advantages like speedy payment settlement, the capacity to provide more people with access to capital, and a means of conducting international trade. Over 130 nations are considering creating their own digital currencies that are supported by the government. India, Saudi Arabia, China, and Russia have already begun the initial stages of their tests. A test of a digital euro might begin as early as 2028. Despite these developments, the United States remains far behind. These remarks belong to the Congress of the United States of America at this moment, despite the fact that more and more information regarding digital currency is becoming available. The United States Congress has made it perfectly plain that granted its consent for the use of XRP. This isn't limited to financial institutions and investment firms. It is available to everyone. Deals both inside and outside of the U.S. can be made with XRP. The Federal Reserve of the United States is the best example of this concept. Do you need to know this? The United States Congress is cognizant of global changes. Ripple is assisting a number of nations, including China, India, Brazil, and others. They are creating their own digital currency, which their governments will then issue their own central banks. The United States does not wish to lag behind in this transition. Furthermore, are you aware of the business they are collaborating with? You're right, Ripple. You are welcome to return to E at any time. It is the greatest resource for learning about XRP. Brazil, Russia, India, China, and South Africa have joined forces to create a digital currency that is used by all 5 nations, much like the BRICS nations do. This is also the case in the United States. Let me show you a movie, please. This demonstrates that Ripple and the U.S. Federal Reserve discussed CBDCs as early as 2015. Despite the apparent spat between Ripple and the Securities and Exchange Commission, this backdrop reveals that Ripple and the U.S. have been collaborating behind the scenes. This collaboration increased the likelihood that Ripple would prevail in the SEC case. Have you yet to consider how Ripple persuaded the Fed to permit payments using the FedAMB method? When they released the technique, the Federal Reserve did not provide Ripple any direct credit. Regardless, there are indications that they did. The Federal Reserve and a blockchain firm have been discussing collaborating, with transactions taking only 3 to 5 seconds to complete. This might make payments simpler and quicker. Gary Gendler hasn't discussed what the U.S. Federal Reserve could accomplish with Ripple in a long time. Gendler, as a presidential candidate, trusted the Federal Reserve, which was already established, integrating Ripple and XRP into their payment system to enable both local and international transactions. Gendler continued to believe in the Fed. By this time, Ripple was the target of a civil lawsuit brought by the SEC. What if we discussed what is currently going on? Riverbank is now able to access the FedNet transaction network. The program Riplet is used by Riverbank, a well-known Ripple payment partner, to manage transfers. Together, let's dissect this. A bank is not the only aspect of this. This one payment provider uses the XCurrent and XRapid services on Riplet. Both of these businesses employ XRP and its ledger, which is instantly available. It is certain that XRapid, XCurrent, and Riplet, all of which are based on XRP, will all play a significant role in the future, given that Riverbank has joined FedNet. As a result, the FedNet payment system is prepared to employ XRP to satisfy its liquidity requirements for transactions that begin in other nations. And as a result, we may believe that XRP will appreciate in value as it has many advantages and keeps becoming more helpful. This is news that will benefit your stock if you possess XRP and are keeping an eye on it. The usage of XRP in conventional financial systems is not merely an indication of the coin's potential future utility. This demonstrates the speed at which the international business landscape is evolving. As more traditional banks discover how quick, simple, and affordable blockchain technology like Ripple's can be, the way things are done is changing. Moreover, Gary Gendler's steadfast support and subsequent efforts by banks such as Riverbank are only the beginning. The whole financial industry will be impacted as more businesses become aware of and utilize XRP and related technology. Before I continue, I want to let my audience know about some really fantastic news. For XRP, I can negotiate a transaction. Simply follow these 3 simple steps to join the group. If this video resonates with you, you can click the subscribe button, enable alerts, and share it with your loved ones if you like it. I'll see to it that these procedures are followed in the event that we select the fortunate winner. We wish everyone the best of luck. As soon as we reach 60,000 people, we will reveal our winner. Let's return to the topic at hand before continuing. The value of XRP and the growing significance of the system. There have been discussions on the U.S. Federal Reserve's interest in it, flaw the desire of the majority of Americans to utilize it. On the other hand, people outside of the U.S. are beginning to realize how beneficial XRP could be to them. Numerous governments are investigating its potential implications, including those of the BRICS nations and even the European Union with its digital euro plan. These are the movies we produced on these subjects. They go into greater detail on the use of XRP in the CBDC, in the BRICS nations, and the digital euro initiative in Europe. To reiterate, the United States of America is not merely interested in as a potential CBDC, which we discussed in another film, but they also hope to use it to expedite international trade. This holds true not only for CBDCs, but for all banking transactions. Whether they take place in the U.S. or another nation is irrelevant. Let's first examine the implications for XRP's future worth. As more people utilize XRP, particularly large financial institutions like the U.S. Federal Reserve, its value will fluctuate. In general, a coin's worth is mostly determined by how many uses it can have. Large financial systems are enhanced by a digital asset such as XRP. Its advantages for transactions are not the only thing that immediately jumps out. Another thing to consider is how it gradually fosters faith and trust. The banking industry is rapidly evolving globally. Electronic transactions are growing in popularity as people want to be able to move money across